The Elphinstone Institute hosts a really interesting program called the MLitt in Ethnology and Folklore. And it allows students, I think, to get quite a different perspective on the world around them by studying what we call folklore, but what you might know as sort of everyday culture, unofficial culture, those things that don't have maybe the sanction of official bodies, but are those things that allow us to interact creatively with the world around us in different ways. And so in the MLitt in Ethnology and Folklore, our students do all sorts of different kinds of training. We do training in ethnographic methodologies, so students learn how to interview, they learn how to video record and audio record. They get lots of different assessments, so our students will make podcasts on the course, they'll make a video project on the course. They also have more traditional assessments like essays, maybe an ethnographic report, things like that will allow them to really be prepared for the wide range of skills that are, I think, needed to work in the world today. Yeah, it's a really interesting program in that sense. The MLitt in Ethnology and Folklore offers students the possibility of studying full-time over a period of 12 months or part-time over a period of 2 years, and different students will see what fits them. But what's really interesting about the program, I think, is the flexibility that you get in terms of the assessments. So students are constantly being tasked with doing fieldwork with different groups of people, with different situations across the northeast of Scotland, and this gives them lots of different experiences, really interesting experiences to research their own interests, to focus on the things that really matter to them and bring those to the course. So every year what our students bring, whether it's in an essay, whether it's in an ethnographic report, a film, or indeed their dissertations, is completely different from the previous years, and just absolutely fascinating to get an idea of the wide range of vernacular culture in this region. Another interesting thing about the Elphinstone Institute and the MLitt in Ethnology and Folklore is that students learn from experts at the Elphinstone Institute. So there are 3 core members of staff, of teaching staff, but we also get visiting lectures from across the University of Aberdeen. We've got a wide range of expertise in museums and other contexts as well. And we get visiting lectures from across Scotland. So we actually bring in people to speak on their own specialism. So students aren't stuck with sort of one very fixed perspective, but are constantly getting challenged with different perspectives. The director of the Elphinstone Institute, Thomas McCain, is an expert in custom and belief and Scottish ballads. Senior lecturer in ethnomusicology, Francis Wilkins, is an expert in religious song and also the transnational exchange of music, especially between Scotland and Canada. And I'm a teaching fellow. My name's Nicolas Le Bigre, and I focus on migration and personal experience narratives, so the stories that people tell about their own lives, why that's important. And I also look at political materiality of things like street art and that sort of thing. So students are really getting a wide range of perspectives, both from us and from other staff members from across the university and the country. Students at the Elphinstone Institute, students in the MLitt in Ethnology and Folklore will have special access, I suppose, to the Elphinstone Institute itself. Our students are always coming in, our doors are open, there's that ability to exchange. And within the Elphinstone Institute, we have a really, really special place, which is called the Buchan Library. And this has got to be one of the country's greatest collections of books related to not only Northeast Scotland and Scotland more generally, but also the disciplines of ethnology, folklore, and ethnomusicology. One aspect of the MLitt in Ethnology and Folklore that's so interesting to me is that our students have the ability to join in and participate in the countless events that we have going on throughout the year. So things like storytelling events that we host with the Scottish International Storytelling Centre, a public lecture series, an ethnographic film series. We've got a Polish-Scottish song group. We've got just so many different activities like that the students can sort of find their own interest in and choose to join in and participate in. So there are numerous career routes available to students in the MLitt in Ethnology and Folklore. And a number of our graduates have gone in different directions. So many of them, of course, go on to do PhDs and follow some of the really interesting routes that academia allows. But a number of other students will go on into the heritage sector. They might go into things like tourism or museum and curation. And lots of our students have gone on to do entrepreneurial stuff, so set up their own businesses connected to culture, and whether it's in Scotland or in international context as well. So there are plenty of different routes available to our students. The community of the Elphinstone Institute and really the MLitt in Ethnology and Folklore is what really makes the program special in my mind. We normally have relatively small classes, And I think our youngest graduate was 21 years old and our oldest graduate was 81 years old. So you get an idea of the vast range of student experiences that come into the program. And I think that's what makes it so interesting, because everybody brings their own experiences, they exchange with each other, they share their own life histories, and all of these things build and make that program so much more interesting. And at the same time, you also have a small number of staff, and together through things like field trips and other things like that, we really come together by the end of the year. And we've made long-term relationships with our students, long-lasting relationships with our students, and we're really proud about that.